everyone. Thank you for your coming, for your patience. I would like to start today's panel session. I would like to invite our honorable speakers. First, I would like to invite Mr. Taha Ayhan to the stage. Mr. Ayhan, please take your seat. Ms. Akerke Skenderova, the next speaker. Last but not least, Ms. Lubna Al-Hassouni, please, to the stage. Thank you. Ben verdim başkan, oraya koymuşum. Excellencies, distinguished guests, honorable speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and a privilege to moderate today's high-level panel session under the theme Empowering Youth for Global Impact in a Digitalized World, which convened on the margins of the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, which is held under the auspices of the President of the Republic of Turkey and jointly organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey and Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum. Today, we meet at a pivotal moment in history, one shaped by rapid technological transformation, increasing geopolitical complexity, and an urgent need for renewed multilateral engagement. The convergence of digitalization and diplomacy is not merely a technical evaluation, it is a profound shift in how global affairs are conducted. In this shifting paradigm, young people are no longer passive observers or future stakeholders. They are present actors, leaders of influence who mobilize ideas, shape narratives, and build coalitions across borders. You know, digital platforms, once peripheral, now serve as strategic tools for diplomacy, engagement, and advocacy. Ladies and gentlemen, dear youth representatives, this panel has been designed to spotlight how youth are not only adapting to this evolving global landscape, but actively reshaping it. Our esteemed speakers, each of whom brings a wealth of experience in leadership, policymaking, and innovation, will offer reflections on how young people can harness digital diplomacy to drive meaningful, systematic change. Without further ado, I have the pleasure of introducing our first speaker. His Excellency Taha Ayhan, the President of Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum. For your information, dear audience, I would like briefly introduce Mr. Ayhan. Mr. Ayhan is an accomplished legal scholar, civic leader, and a passionate advocate for youth empowerment. In addition to his legal career, he has played active roles in various civil society organizations dedicated to education, youth, and sports, such as World Ethnosport Confederation. He has been elected by the General Assembly of the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum as the president in 2018 and re-elected by the General Assembly unanimously in 2024, has been instrumental in elevating the ICYF's global outreach and influence. In his capacity as the head of OIC youth institution, which is mandated by both the Council of Ministers of Youth and Sport of the OIC member states and the Council of Foreign Affairs as a major implementing agency of the OIC youth strategy. His vision been recognized also internationally with numerous awards, including the Star of Merit from His Excellency Mahmoud Abbas, the President of the State of Palestine, and the Peacemaker of the Planet Gold Medal given by an UN agency. Mr. Ayhan, of course, there are a lot of words can be said about your biography, about your valuable contributions, dedication to the Ummah's youth betterment, but I would like to give the floor to you for your valuable remarks, for your observations about today's panel session theme. Please, Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear Excellencies, dear distinguished guests, respected panelists, of course, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege for me to join you today at Antalya Diplomacy Forum, and I'm overexcited to speak in front of you in front of such a great audience. Today's discussion is about empowering the youth for global impact in a digitalized world. Couldn't be more timely nor more urgent. The global community finds itself at crossroads, of course. The traditional tools of diplomacy are no longer sufficient to respond to the complexity of today's interconnected crisis. And in this reality, digital diplomacy, especially driven by youth, is not simply an alternative, but it's an imperative. At Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF, we see the transformative potential of the youth engagement every day. We understand that today's young leaders are not waiting to be invited to the global stage, but they are already there. They are already shaping it. They are already using the digital platforms to voice their concerns, mobilize their peers, and catalyze policy change. Our task, therefore, as ICYF, is not only to recognize this new generation of digital diplomats, but to invest in the infrastructure, the institutions, and the interventions that can elevate their voices and amplify their impact. Today, the digital platforms are becoming a sole and an ultimate tool for mobilization of the communities and or amplifying the public opinion. Let me begin with one of the most heartbreaking and unresolved challenges of our time for explaining what is the role of digital diplomacy nowadays, the ongoing humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. What we have witnessed in Gaza is not merely a regional crisis, it's a moral litmus test for the global order. In a time when official mechanisms often fall short of providing justice or accountability, young people have risen as the moral compass of the international community. While analyzing the ongoing genocide in Gaza, digital diplomacy has two phases. First of all, the occupational state uses the digital platforms and a live broadcasting of genocide for building up their genocidal attitudes and their limits of violation against humanity. On the other hand, the humanity try to combat with them for amplifying their voices to combat with this ongoing genocide. And across social media and digital networks, youth have taken it upon themselves to expose violations, challenge false narratives, and mobilize solidarity for the people of Gaza against the occupational state and all of their stakeholders. This is digital diplomacy at its most urgent and most impactful. Through viral campaigns, live reporting, and global petitions, young leaders have not only drawn the world's attention, but also pressured institutions to act. By the way, even the governments nowadays prefer the digital platforms to express their policies instead of using the old traditional methods. And in this new world, ICF stands in solidarity with the youth of Palestine and across the Muslim world who are at the forefront of digital resistance. And we commit to continuing our advocacy to ensure that platforms for truth and justice remain accessible, protected, and empowered. I believe that empowering youth in this context requires more than advocacy, but it requires infrastructure. In this context, what can make digital diplomacy possible and truly effective is ensuring that the necessary infrastructure is equitably accessible to young people across the world. I believe that the key to enabling digital diplomacy to foster a new understanding of diplomacy lies in building the right infrastructure and making it available to youth globally. Otherwise, we risk merely reproducing the old codes of diplomacy under the label of digital diplomacy. Here, I would like to take a moment to highlight some ICYF works. And I can confidently say that we have taken significant steps on this front. For instance, through the ICYF digital platform, we have created a digital ecosystem that is easily accessible to young people across the globe. This digital ecosystem is not only a space for networking, but it's a strategic enabler for scalable youth engagement. With this platform, we are reaching hundreds of thousands of young people across continents on a daily basis, facilitating the knowledge exchange, online campaigns, and learning management system that reflect the diversity and dynamism of our youth. The total number of users are already exceeded the 1 million. And for giving some insights about the ICYF works, I can say that in 73 countries, in 817 universities, we have clubs. And in these clubs, we are offering online educational content, more than 3,000 hours of work, starting from business plan up until the world history. And now, the online subscribers, online users of this online learning management system is around 70,000 young people at the undergrad or grad level. And the total alumni of ICYF is around 30,000 people now. And on the other front, on this digital front, on the other work of ICYF is supporting the Gaza Tribunal, which has been formed under the leadership of the Richard Falk, and former United Nations reporter on the occupied territories, who are the members of this Gaza Tribunal are Noura Erekat, a prominent activist of Palestine in the United States, Michael Link, another former reporter of United Nations on occupied territories, Avi Shilaim, Taha Abdurrahman, Jamil Aydin are other prominent members of this Gaza Tribunal. And for both supporting the Gaza Tribunal and also documenting the testimonies of the witnesses and victims and experts on the ongoing genocide in Gaza, we have also created a live TV channel, which is live for 24 hours, 7 days, which is accessible through the satellite or websites or social media accounts, called as Witness Eye Channel. And you can view Witness Eye Channel with any means, and you can see the testimonies, you can hear the testimonies. And our legal team are legally reporting these testimonies for submitting them to the International Court of Justice and International Criminal Court. And we are creating an archive for these crimes, these committed crimes in Gaza. We must move beyond symbolic participation and embrace frameworks of shared leadership. This means integrating youth into negotiations, consultations, and decision-making platforms. It means embedding youth perspectives into the design of digital strategies and reimagining global governance models to reflect a more participatory, resilient, and value-based diplomacy. Because the future of diplomacy must not merely be inherited by the next generation, it must be co-authored by them, starting from now. And concluding my words, finally, the age of digital diplomacy is not defined by technology alone. It is defined by who has access, who is heard, and who leads. The challenges before us, be it the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza, the climate emergency, or the widening digital divide, demand bold leadership, ethical innovation, and the renewed global compact injustice. As the head of the ICYF, I firmly believe that the youth of the world are not merely participants in this transformation, but they are also the architects. Our mission is clear: to equip them with the tools, the platforms, and the global reach they need to advocate for justice, advance peace, and shape a more inclusive and resilient world order. But also, I want to underline the importance of activities on site, in person, the importance of reaching the people who do not have access to the digital tools or who do not have the infrastructure. Even this part is maybe more important than the using digital tools. As conclusion, let us continue to collaborate, to amplify, and to innovate. Because the digital world is no longer the frontier of the future. It is the battleground of today's diplomacy. And at the end of my words, I want to apply to your support, and I want to ask your support to the Witness Eye channel, to Gaza Tribunal, and all the initiatives of the young people from all around the world for the sake of saving the humanity, starting from Gaza. Thank you very much for your patience and your understanding. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Mr. Ayhan, for your indeed compelling remarks and for your continued leadership in advancing youth participation across the OIC geography and beyond. I hope and I am sure that your words have set excellent foundation for today's discussions. Now, with your permission, I would like to go to the next speaker, Ms. Lubna Al-Hassouni, youth leader from the Kingdom of Morocco. Again, I would like to brief about Ms. Lubna. She is a distinguished Moroccan youth leader, researcher, and civil society activist. She has been elected as the ICYF Executive Board member by the General Assembly in 2024, representing the Arab group. She is currently pursuing her PhD in FinTech and Innovation at the King Mohammed V University in Rabat, and she contributes to international investment frameworks through her leading role at the Polish Investment and Trade Agency. Her advocacy spans multiple fields, including youth development, inclusive project design, and regional migration policy. Her leadership positions within the Eden-Morocco Association, the Arab-Danish Partnership Program, and the Mediterranean Dialogue on Migration, demonstrating her holistic commitment to cross-sectoral and inter-regional cooperation. Mr. Al-Hassouni, please, the floor is yours for your valuable remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Rasool. Thank you, Mr. Rasool, for the kind introduction. Assalamu alaikum, distinguished guests and fellow panelists. It's a pleasure for me to be with you here today. This is my first time participating in the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, and I would like first to thank the Antalya Diplomacy Forum and for the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum for the kind invitation, and also for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey for providing such a platform to discuss such important and timely conversations. Today's topic is very relevant to our lived reality. Now more than ever, we see that young people are engaging in international affairs and public policy in a way not only on the sidelines, but actually from within. We see that young people are engaging in public diplomacy through digital platforms, because as we know, this is where diplomacy is increasingly taking place. When we talk about digital tools in terms of digital diplomacy, we talk about communication. And now, digital tools are not only changing the way we communicate, it's also giving a very, very empowering tool for young people, which is access. So it's given us access to information, it's given us access to have discussions about global issues, and also to communicate about different matters that are happening in our regions. It's also given us a lot of power in order to speak for ourselves rather than to be spoken for. And this is why I'm so glad to be here today, because we see youth representatives in a panel that are talking about their own experience and that they are sharing their own perspective when it comes to digital diplomacy or being a digital ambassador online. So from Morocco to Malaysia, today I'm representing not only Morocco but the Arab world as part of the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum. We are raising our voices in many issues when it comes to climate change, the conflict in Gaza, to peace building, and also a lot of topics that are happening now in our region, which is a lot of conflicts. And while these platforms, of course, they don't solve every problem, but they do give us a lot of space for something powerful, which is connection, coordination, and also visibility. In the Arab world, we've seen how digital platforms can actually connect and bridge different people and bridge the bridge between the divides, different people between different countries, different languages, and different cultures. In a time where there is a lot of conflict, we have platforms that allow young people to come together and to actually find a common ground when it comes to these conflicts, and to try to organize many online campaigns and to contribute to policy making and to try to communicate to decision makers about what do they want in their agenda and try to advance their ambitions in the current agendas of their countries. But this space, of course, we talk about how there's a lot of advantages when it comes to these tools, but there are also a lot of challenges. His Excellency mentioned how important it is that when we talk about digital diplomacy, we should also talk about inclusivity. Not a lot of young people in our region have access to infrastructure, proper infrastructure, and access to internet that will allow them to engage in these platforms. But it's a very democratized, I see it as a very democratized way to engage in public diplomacy in general, because it bypasses all the diplomatic traditional channels that many people do not have access to, especially when we talk about marginalized groups, when we talk about young women, when we talk about civil society actors. These platforms can give them a chance to engage when it was not maybe possible in the past. So some of the challenges that we may be facing in this realm of digital diplomacy is misinformation. There's also a lot of manipulation online when it comes to the public opinion, and maybe we as young people sometimes are a victim of being used as a way to, for example, influence a certain policies or as a way to drive a certain political agenda. So it's very important now, more than ever, in this realm to be more careful, to provide the right resources, and to give young people the chance to have access to materials about how to engage in a very ethical way, how to use critical thinking. Yes, how to use critical thinking when it comes to engaging online, and also maybe training programs that will allow them to use these tools in their benefits and in the benefits of the causes that they're trying to defend in their countries or in the region. So young digital actors, as I said, need training, they need capacity building, and we can see that many organizations are leading in this field, especially the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum is providing many training programs and platforms like the media training camps, like the model OIC clubs that also focus on this topic in their training. But we also need to highlight that while we should be active in digital platforms, this is very limited because we have to take this offline in our advocacy. So we should, of course, use digital tools for advocacy, but it should be followed by offline advocacy and offline change. So awareness is a first step, but what we need, of course, also is influence on policy, on institutions, and also on global priorities. That means creating stronger connection between youth-led initiatives, and the formal diplomatic word. And it means also giving young leaders a seat at the table, not just to listen, but to contribute meaningfully. This, of course, applies when we talk about Palestine and the urgent need to defend human dignity and international law. We see that talking now about Palestine is a way to keep it in the international agenda. It is a way to remind people that this conflict is still ongoing, even when if media platforms are not communicating about it sufficiently. And of course, it applies when we talk also about climate change, where young people are not just demanding action, but they're also proposing solutions. It applies when we talk about peace building, especially for women and young people, where young are often the first to lead dialogue in fractured communities. To institutions here and also globally, I would say that we should be definitely included early. We should be supported consistently and treated not just as a box to check, but as partners in shaping the future. We bring a digital perspective, of course, but we also bring a lot. Other than digital perspective, we bring a lot of innovation. We bring a lot of new ideas. We bring a lot of interest in genuine long-term interest in shaping our future, because we are not the leaders only of today. Most importantly, we are the leaders of tomorrow. So we should be included in the agenda of digital diplomacy really early on and supported through different programs in order to contribute to these issues in an effective way. And to our fellow young people, I'm very happy to see that there are a lot of students attending with us today and young people in this room. I just want to share that our commitment, our engagement really matters. And I say this from experience leading different projects in my country and also in the Arab world. I have seen how much our advocacy can actually have an impact on influencing different agendas in our countries. I see how when we try, we can actually have a seat also with the leaders that are usually older than us, and they are able to listen to us when we show that we are ambitious, when we show that we are committed to the causes that we're trying to defend. So the work we do online and also offline adds up. It creates pressure, it opens doors, and it also reminds the world that diplomacy today must be inclusive, connected, and forward-looking. Digital diplomacy is definitely not just about technology, it's about the kind of global community we're trying to build. One where voices are heard based on merit, not only on title. One where distance is not definitely a barrier. Now we can definitely connect young people from Yemen to Malaysia to Morocco in one platform using hashtag defending or engaging in solidarity campaigns and trying to put pressure. And it also gives young people a vision about where we should be sending out in the future with insights, experience, and something to offer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Al-Hassouni. Of course, I have to admit that your remarks, how can I say, your approach is very important for today's discussion. Why? Because you have touched the important point that in this digitalized world, how we can mobilize our youth and how we can empower youth to use these, especially the artificial intelligence tools appropriate in their work, in their job, because there is a challenge in the future that, especially in the atmosphere, that the artificial intelligence is growing up rapidly, and there is challenge in the future that these kind of the tools will replace persons, will replace humans, and this is very dangerous challenge. And I think the today youth should focus and mobilize themselves to use from this kind of the tools as additional resources to get what they want, but rather than making themselves more comfortable, making their job more easier, and living this kind of, or losing their future against this kind of the digitalized world tools. Thank you so much for your valuable remarks. I would like to give to go to the next speaker, Ms. Akirke Skendarova, Chairwoman Jastar Ruhi Youth Wing of Amanat Party in Kazakhstan. Ms. Iskandarova is a prominent public figure and youth advocate from Kazakhstan. As chairwoman of Jastar Ruhi, the young wing of the ruling party Amanat, she champions civic engagement and digital inclusion among youth. Her candidacy for the Majlis, the lower house of Kazakhstan's parliament, marks her as a rising political leader dedicated to public service. Her dedication to education, leadership, and civic innovation is a testament to the power of youth in shaping the policy landscape. Ms. Iskandarova, we are eager to listen to your valuable remarks. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, distinguished guests, fellow speakers, and dear participants. Good day to all of you. First of all, I would like to sincerely thank the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum for the kind invitation to speak of this at this important panel session. It is a great honor to be here and to contribute to such a vital conversation about the role of youth in digital diplomacy, a topic that is not only timely but deeply relevant in today's interconnected and times divided world. So I'm grateful to the organizers, especially to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey, for creating this platform where young voices from across the OIC countries can come together to share perspectives, thoughts, ideas, and solutions. So the fact that we're discussing diplomacy through the lens of youth and digital engagement shows that this forum truly understands the importance of empowering the next generations of leaders. So I'm proud to represent the youth of Kazakhstan, a country that sits at the crossroads of cultures and civilizations, and I look forward to sharing our experiences and learning from all of you today. Now I'd like to take a step back and reflect on our topic on how digital diplomacy can help bridge divides in our increasingly fragmented world. We live in a time when political tensions and conflicts are rising. In many regions, including some weak countries, traditional diplomacy is blocked or limited. But young people don't have to wait for official talks. We can act right now by building connections through digital platforms. And digital diplomacy allows us to share stories, offer alternative narratives, and create people-to-people dialogue, even when governments are not communicating. So also in Kazakhstan, there are some platforms where young people from different countries can share their thoughts and their solutions about the different problems, for example, like security, climate change, and economic development. And we know that young people today are digital natives. We are fluent in the language of social media, in using different online platforms, and we can use these platforms to raise our voices and in engaging with others from around the world. We are the generation that has grown up with these tools at our fingertips, and we know how to use them to make a difference. And we have different tools for making digital diplomacy. First of all, it's social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, and others. We can start campaigns and share messages with the world. But digital diplomacy, it's not just posting content, it's also making conversation, it's also making some solution. And in Kazakhstan, we have a platform like Step Politics. It's created by young experts in Kazakhstan. They share smart multilingual content about global affairs with a Central Asian perspective. And this helps bring new voices into the global conversation. Also, we have another platforms like YouTube and TikTok, where young people use short videos to highlight important issues, and these digital stories help educate global audience and spark international attention. All of these tools allows us to speak not just to our governments, but to each other, with people of different countries. So, and that's what makes use digital diplomacy so powerful. And we have a lot of responsibility because of using these platforms. It's based on real stories, real experiences, and real people. And but as other speakers mentioned, we must also be mindful of the challenges that come with digital diplomacy. One of the greatest challenges young digital diplomats face is misinformation. With so much information available online, it's difficult to know what is true and what is not. Misinformation spreads quickly, and we should working with the critical thinking of young people. So this is a serious challenge that we must address. In Kazakhstan, youth organizations and universities are increasingly focusing on media literacy, teaching young people how to navigate the digital landscape responsibility. And I think we can work together on this way on educating critical thinking of young people in different countries. So digital diplomacy gives young people a chance to speak, connect, and lead not tomorrow, but today. Youth in the Uyghur region and in Kazakhstan are already doing this. They are building bridges between cultures, creating powerful narratives, and defending truth in the digital space. So now we need support from institutions, from each other, and from platforms like this forum to grow our impact and make sure that the future of diplomacy is more inclusive, more peaceful, and more youth-driven. Thank you once again to the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum for this opportunity and for believing in the power of our generation of young leaders. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Iskandarova. Of course, for your enlightening remarks. I think your leadership, both at the national and international levels, regional levels, exemplifies the kind of youth-driven engagement that this forum seeks to promote. Before going to the audience, I have a very specific question to our honorable speakers, which about the digital diplomacy use in the global crisis. So let me start from Mr. Ayhan. How can young leaders use digital diplomacy networks to advocate for human rights violation?
Thank you very
Especially
much.
in the basic human rights violations in global crisis, and especially in Gaza.
Thank you very much. I think addressing your question is based on the empirical terms and the experiences that we are learning by action during the crisis nowadays. I mean, after Gaza especially, the communities from all around the world have been mobilized, have been organized by themselves, and the action make the organization, the network from all around the world. I mean, because in person, I have participated to the mass rallies in Bangkok, in London, in New York, in Washington, in Istanbul, in several cities from all around the world, and they didn't have any leadership, they didn't have any organizational framework, but they have done this mobilization by themselves in action because there was a cause of Gaza, and I mean the basic instinct of and being a human is to keep the dignity of humanity. So the millions from all around the world have shown themselves on the streets and demand for justice. And this has been done very quickly because of the digital platforms. So I think this experience shows us that the theory of using the digital platforms for digital mobilization or digital diplomacy or whatever we are titling it is done by the action, and the cause is important because if you have the cause, it is automatically driving you for action. But on the other hand, digital platforms have two faces of a coin. One hand, it gives us availability and opportunity to act very quickly, mobilize and organize very quickly, and it creates a huge pressure on governments to take some steps. I mean, we have seen that. This kind of mobilizations, rallies, meetings have put pressure on so many governments, including the Biden government. I mean, yes, their actions were not satisfactory, but at least they have been forced to take some actions. But on the other hand, at the other side of the coin, it's not that bright because we're seeing nowadays that, for example, Mahmoud Khalil, the leader, student leader of the incumbents of universities from the United States, or Rumeysa Öztürk, a Turkish PhD student in the United States, and many others, including Nancy Fraser or a philosopher from New School of States. I mean, now the government is using these digital tools to oppress the people, to silence the voice of the people. So, I mean, using digital platforms is important, is easy. I mean, increasing the access is important, but on the other hand, the governments also use this to oppress and address the people who are demanding the justice. And I think one of the important point that's been highlighted by both my sister Lubna and my sister Akarke is the misinformation and manipulation that can be done through the digital platforms. I mean, this was also a topic of many elections that taken place last years, including the states elections. I mean, because even the President Trump has told about false news. So this is an all important side of the issue that should be addressed. And as a conclusion, I want to mention about, again, Gaza Tribunal efforts of ICYF and the Witness Eye channel, because I think this is one of the important initiatives for demanding the justice for Gaza, because I mean Gaza is the most urgent and important humanitarian issue in the world that should be addressed urgently, immediately, and unfortunately that cannot be solved even though we are forced to see the live broadcasted genocide while sitting in our houses as the humanity. Witness Eye channel is a channel that has been created by volunteers, a team that's been organized by ICYF from all around the world, and unfortunately, or maybe happily, several volunteers of the Witness Eye channel have been martyred at the last bombardments of the occupation state, but we are still there to amplify the voices of the people of Gaza, and we will continue to work on this to document the crimes of occupational state. But I mean, we need your help. We need you to watch first of all, and then to disseminate the message. We need your support for expanding our outreach on the Witness Eye channel. And thank you very much again for this.
Thanks so much, Mr. Ayhan, for your answer. So I was hinted that we have time limitations. So Mr. Al-Hassouni, the floor is yours. You have a couple of minutes for your answer for this. Please.
Thank you, first of all, Mr. Rasool, for this very interesting question. I think it's very relevant now in our reality. How can we engage young people in the conversation about the conflict in Gaza, and what are they doing in the realm of digital diplomacy when it comes to this conflict? We know that when there is conflict, the conflict in Gaza is not only a humanitarian tragedy, but it's also a crisis of information and also a crisis of media. We know when there is conflict, there is also a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of manipulation. There's also misrepresentation, and also we can find a lot of cases of unethical use of social media. I see that young people do have the power in first targeting this misinformation by first fact-checking the informations or the news that they are checking, and trying to be very critical, do critical thinking when it comes to finding the resources of what they're sharing online. They can also, we see that on the ground, one of the most interesting tools of actually communicating real information is first account testimonials from the ground. So in the conflict now in Gaza, we see that a lot of journalists are actually doing live streams and sharing their stories and sharing their testimonials of what's happening on the ground. And this is a very important way to actually communicate real information of what's happening. We also see a lot of young people from the conflict sharing online their stories and also engaging other people to share the real information of what's happening, because maybe the media outlets are manipulating the information that are being shared. So I think that young people can be very useful in fighting against misinformation in this regard. There's also, we can also, young people can also mobilize campaigns, solidarity campaigns online, signing petitions against, for example, companies or countries that are complicit in the genocide. We can also see it in a very strategic way. We can mobilize young people in a way to partner with the legal advocacy group to pressure international institutions. So here we're talking not only about what can institutions do, but what can individuals do. And of course, it should be very coordinated. I think that while young people can engage online in, for example, this conflict, it should be managed in a very coordinated way, targeting decision makers. So a lot of people should come together and try to find the best tools to actually communicate and to engage other people, inform them about the real issue, and to try to be raising awareness online. We can also engage young people in a way that makes them very aware of the current realities outside of their own countries. So this means that young people will develop a sense of empathy for other young people that are suffering from tragedies that they do not deal with in their own countries. And this will, I think, will raise leaders that are very aware of the current conflicts that are going on, which was not probably possible to, in the past, to communicate instantly in a live stream about what's happening in the conflict or in the region where there is an issue. This is my view about the topic.
I'll appreciate. Thank you. Ms. Akerka, please, the floor is yours.
So I'm agree with the fellow speakers that we, as a young leaders, digital diplomats, should use digital diplomacy to promote fair solutions to global crises by building international networks or other coalitions and fostering dialogue, engaging diverse stakeholders. Social media plays a key role in our world now, and it enables rapid information sharing, mobilization of support, shaping of global public opinion and pressure on decision makers. So through digital platforms, we can build coalitions, advocate for initiatives on a global scale and ensure that our voices are included in decision-making process. We should use digital tools in the right way, in making solutions on these questions, like where human rights, in the issues of human rights. And I think that we should work on online platforms like digital diplomats now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Before going to my concluding remarks, I would like to turn to the audience, young representatives. We may take some questions from the audience, if you have, of course. Please.
Thank you for being here. For
Introduce
Mrs.
yourself,
Lubna,
please.
how do you estimate the power of the artificial intelligence regarding to the digitalized diplomacy and the crisis of misinformations?
Thank you for your question. I think AI now is being used, is increasingly being a tool that is used in diplomacy and public diplomacy by young people. It can be used, for example, when it comes to, for example, when we try to write, for example, a policy recommendation. Maybe AI can be used in this way in order to find, for example, informations, but it should be done in a very critical way where we should be doing fact-checking. We should make sure that the resources that we are trying to rely on are credible, and always go back to, for example, trying to see like if fact-checking whether the informations that are being cited from the output that is given from the AI platforms are real. So I think it's a very interesting tool that makes us maybe reduce a lot of time that is when it comes to, for example, writing proposals or generating ideas, but it's always have to be like regulated in a way that you do the fact-checking and using critical thinking. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other question? So thank you very much. I would like to conclude the session. Distinguished guests, esteemed panelists, honorable speakers, as we bring this insightful session to a close, allow me to extend my deepest appreciation to our esteemed speakers for their powerful contributions today. We have not only explored the concept of digital diplomacy, we have witnessed its real-world application through the lived experiences, leadership, and advocacy of young change makers from across the OIC geography. The insights shared today reaffirm an undeniable truth. Youth are not merely beneficiaries of digital transformation. They are co-creators of its future. With the right tools, platforms, and institutional support, they are well positioned to challenge disinformation, foster dialogue, and build inclusive and forward-looking diplomatic narratives. At the Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, we remain resolute in our mission to enable, equip, and elevate young leaders in all spheres of diplomacy and governance. Let today's discussion be not the conclusion of a dialogue, but the beginning of collaborative action. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF, I thank the Antalya Diplomacy Forum organizers in general, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey in particular for their continued support and vision. I also thank all of you, our audience, for your attention and strong commitment to youth empowerment. Thank you very much for your comments. Thank you.